1+ hours of macabre history, the forgotten secrets of America's haunted asylums and sanitariums. I'll write it as a documentary-style narration, structured into sections so it flows for over an hour. Feel free to expand or edit as needed. If you'd like, we can also develop matching visuals, chapter titles, or voiceover cues afterward. Scroll 1+ hours of macabre history, the forgotten secrets of America's haunted asylums and sanitariums. Greater than, in the silent halls of America's forgotten asylums, shadows whisper stories of pain, hope, and horror. Derelict house introduction. Shadows of the past. They stand today as decaying monuments, sprawling brick buildings behind rusting iron gates, windows shattered, hallways blanketed in dust. Once, these asylums and sanitariums were built with the promise of healing the mind and curing the body. Yet inside their walls, dark secrets took root. Stories of neglect, cruelty, madness, and sometimes, pure evil. Tonight, we open locked doors and walk through the forgotten history of these haunted places, and meet the restless souls said to remain. Stethoscope Chapter 1. The Birth of Asylums. In the 19th century, America faced a new question: what to do with the mentally ill? Before then, the mentally ill were often jailed, hidden in basements, or left to wander. Reformers like Dorothea Dix fought for change, believing that compassionate care could cure insanity. Dozens of grand asylums rose, often built in the Kirkbride plan, massive, beautiful buildings shaped like bat wings, meant to bring light and air to those inside. But as the decades passed, these noble intentions gave way to something much darker. Fearful Chapter 2. Overcrowding and neglect. By the early 1900s, asylums across America were filled far beyond their capacity. Staff were overwhelmed, and funding dwindled. Patients who came in with minor conditions found themselves trapped for life. At Danvers State Hospital in Massachusetts, once called the Palace on the Hill, thousands of patients were locked behind iron doors. Stories tell of patients wandering freezing halls, chained to beds, forgotten by families who could no longer afford to visit. In Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in West Virginia, built for 250 patients, over 2,400 lived there at its peak, crammed together, disease spreading like fire. Test Tube Chapter 3. The Horrors of Treatment. What passed for treatment in these places often became torture. Lobotomies. Miracle, surgeries that severed connections in the brain, leaving patients docile, or hollow shells. Electroshock therapy. Administered daily, sometimes without anesthesia, leaving burns and broken bones. Hydrotherapy. Ice-cold baths that patients were forced to stay in for hours. Straight jackets and isolation cells, where some remained for years, in darkness and silence. Patients often died in these treatments, yet the hospitals kept running, year after year. Hotel Chapter 4. Haunted Halls. Long after closing, stories of ghosts and hauntings emerged. In the decaying halls of the Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Kentucky, visitors claimed to see the spirits of tuberculosis patients. One hallway, known as the Death Tunnel, carried thousands of bodies to waiting hearses, so the living wouldn't see the dead. At Penhurst State School and Hospital, shadows and voices fill abandoned wards where disabled children once lived in horrific conditions. In Rolling Hills Asylum in New York, a 7-foot-tall ghost known as the Shadow Man stalks dark corridors. Open Book Chapter 5. Forgotten Lives. Not every spirit was evil. Many were simply forgotten. At Norwich State Hospital in Connecticut, staff records reveal names of patients who lived 40, 50, even 60 years inside. Some were buried on the grounds, their graves marked only by numbers. Among these records are stories of those who came voluntarily, seeking help, and never walked free again. Coffin Chapter 6. Decline and Closure. By the 1960s and 70s, public outcry grew. Hidden cameras exposed abuse, whistleblowers spoke out. Gradually, asylums and sanitariums closed, replaced by community mental health centers that often failed to meet patients' needs. Many hospitals were demolished, others left to rot. But the pain and memories never fully disappeared. Derelict House Chapter 7. Urban Explorers and Modern Legends. Today, explorers enter these ruins, cameras in hand, chasing history, and sometimes, chasing ghosts. They speak of cold spots in empty rooms, doors slamming by themselves, whispers in the dark. Some tell of phantom nurses, apparitions of former patients, and shadows that follow just out of sight. Magnifying Glass Chapter 8. Remembering the Forgotten. Behind every ghost story lies a real person, a child taken from family, a woman judged, hysterical, a soldier traumatized by war. These were not monsters, but people failed by the very system meant to help them. By exploring these haunted places, we do more than seek chills, we keep their stories alive. Candle conclusion. Echoes in the dark. America's haunted asylums and sanitariums are more than decaying buildings. They are silent witnesses to the price of neglect, fear, and ignorance. In the peeling paint and broken glass, we find the echo of lives lived, lost, and sometimes, left to wander forever. Greater than, the walls remember, even when history forgets. Loudspeaker closing call to action. Greater than bell. If you found this journey into macabre history haunting, please subscribe for more. Thumbs up, like the video, and memo share in the comments, which haunted asylum would you dare explore? If you'd like, I can format this as a voiceover script, add timestamps, chapters, or write on-screen text and captions to match the footage. Would you like me to do that next?